Welcome into the Rob Bro Show. I am Rob Bro. It is Power Ranking Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, says the audience. That's Ryan. Let's go, says Nathan. We've got this today. It's going to be a good show. I believe it. Welcome a little sluggish today. Had to drink some water, hydrate. Now I'm ready. It's amazing what a bottle of water will do for you. Let's go. Good morning. Everyone's here. All right, we can start. Roy's here. A few things I want to talk about today. Obviously, we'll do the power ranking of the Major League Baseball top 5. We do that every Wednesday. I also want to talk about Texas Tech football. I just want to go through the roster. I want to power rank the position groups on the roster. We'll go offensive and then defensive power rankings. And I just want to do this as kind of a thought exercise because I'm starting to talk about the Big 12 a little bit more football-wise. We're starting to get into football. We're trying to get into Big 12 football season. It's the off season, but, we're 80 days away from Big 12 football. It's coming. We also have the preseason polls coming out. We will be voting on those, Kyle and I, in the next couple of Gambling Gauchos episodes, so I kind of want to prepare. But I just want to talk through the Texas Tech roster just out loud with you guys and then power rank some position groups. So we'll do that today as well. We'll start with baseball. Starting at the top, the Texas Rangers were punching up a little bit toward the Tampa Bay Rays, but the Rays just absolutely extended over the weekend, beating the Rangers 2 out of 3, continued to win. They're 48-20. Actually, maybe 49-20 now. Where to begin? I mean, this Rays team, you watch them live this weekend, finally against the Rangers, and they are what they are, man. That offense, that defense, that pitching, the Rays are legit, and they are the best team in baseball. Thank you, John Daniels. And then you go to the Texas Rangers. I still think they're number 2. I think they're at a dangerous point. The Rangers are at a dangerous point. They've lost a couple. Now they've lost a series or two here. You're heading to the All-Star break. This is a young team, a team that hasn't been together, a team that is trying to push through the dog days of summer. Can you bounce back from losing a series to the Rays? Can you bounce back from losing games to the Angels? Can you bounce back? We'll see next week. I go Atlanta Braves 3, Orioles 4, and then the Arizona Diamondbacks 5. The Houston Astros still right there. The Dodgers still right there knocking on the door. The Blue Jays still right there knocking on the door, but not quite in the mix. The Rangers have lost a few games on the Astros. They're now up 3.5 games. The Angels 4.5 games back. The Rangers 41-25 after losing 2 in a row to the Angels, 2 out of 3 to the Rays, and then losing that final game to the Cardinals. They are struggling this week, heading into last weekend, but 2 more games against the Angels to be able to net the split. And then you have a series against the Blue Jays, the White Sox, the Yankees, the Tigers, and then a 4-game set with the Astros at the end of June, beginning of July. So there that is. All right. The Texas Rangers' recent slump is normal. There's always a few bumps on the way back up. I agree. I do think that is a normal bump there. Power ranking grocery stores: United, Kroger, Albertsons. Well, brother, Albertsons owns United, so you got a little backwards there. The Diamondbacks are looking good, but got absolutely hosed yesterday by the Phillies. Yes, they did. Power ranking HEB coffee blends: Hub City Blend, Texas Pecan, and Austin Blend. I think I have some Texas Pecan right now. I'm a big fan. Though I generally shop at United. I do go to HEB every once in a while. All right, let's talk through the Texas Tech football roster. This might be boring. I don't know. Just me naming players and putting them in positions. But I want to do it because, as I said earlier, we're looking forward to the Big 12. I'm about to fill out my all Big 12 offense, all Big 12 defense. I want to talk through the Texas Tech roster to see if there's any name that jumps out as maybe deserving on the all Big 12 list. If you can think of a name or somebody from a different school that absolutely deserves to be on the all Big 12 offensive or defensive team, drop them below in the comments. As I said earlier, again, we will fill out our teams and we will power rank the Big 12 1 through 14 as we head into Big 12 Media Days in the middle of July. If you want to power rank the Big 12, you can today. I don't know that I'm ready to. Man, it is going to be tough. 1 through 14. I think I'll probably put Houston down. I have no idea, Austin. That's a weird question. I would probably have Houston down toward the bottom, UCF in the middle, Cincinnati toward the bottom, BYU toward the middle. As far as the new schools go, Kansas, middle. Baylor, I think, bounces back. Somebody has to lose, though. Is it Iowa State losing toward the bottom? West Virginia toward the bottom? I just don't know. Austin, honestly, so excited for the potential of a Micah Hudson type athlete. The potential's there. It feels like there's a little more than potential some days. It feels like there's no potential some days. That's just how recruiting goes. If you get through this weekend and garner a commitment, you are very good. Some people say there's already a commitment, but I do not know. All right, let's get into the offensive roster. Starting with Tyler Shuck and Baron Morton at quarterback. We'll just kind of run through the two deep here. Running back, Taj Brooks, Cam Valdez. Wide receiver, a plethora of guys you could go to. Miles Price. Miles Price, Dran Bradley, Dre McCray. If you're just looking at the offensive skill positions in respect to importance, I would say quarterback is number one. If the quarterback's not going, nothing else will go. So I would say Tyler Shuck and Baron Morton, level of importance, are number one. And then I would say in this Zach Kittley offense, even though Joey McGuire wants to run the ball, I think since the quarterback allegedly is going to be running the ball, if it's Tyler Shuck, I would say wide receiver was number two. And then running back would be number three as order of importance. But I think talent-wise, Taj Brooks and Cameron Valdez and Bryson Donnell are very talented. But Dran Bradley, probably the most talented player on the team. In fact, if somebody was going to be in an all Big 12 type list preseason, I would pick Dran Bradley. to be a wide receiver on the All Big 12 team. I don't know that there's another offensive player that I would pick preseason to be an All Big 12 player, first team. Maybe Tyler Shough. If Tyler Shough starts 12 games, would he be an All Big 12 player? Can answer that in the comments. If Behren Morton played all 12 games, would he be an All Big 12 player, first team? If it's not Tyler Shough, who is the All Big 12 quarterback? I don't know. Jalen Daniels? If Kansas can keep momentum past their first 6 games, if he can stay healthy, is it Quinn Ewers? Is it Hunter Deckers from Iowa State? You laugh. Could be. But beyond all of that, the skill positions, I think the offensive line is quite obviously the most important piece of this roster offensively. You have to be able to protect the quarterback and run the ball. The offensive line will be number 1, quarterback number 2, wide receiver number 3, running back number 4 in terms of importance. In terms of talent, wide receiver might be number 1 on this team. I think the wide receiver room is very, very talented. Then you would put probably quarterback, running back, and then offensive line is the least talented position on the offense, which is a little bit scary because they're the most important. Now, just because you say least talented doesn't mean that they are not talented. It just means that the rest of the offense is pretty talented and they're right behind them. And of course, we haven't seen a couple of these guys. We haven't seen Cole Spencer play as a Texas Tech Red Raider. We haven't seen Rusty Stotts play as a Texas Tech Red Raider. We're going to flip. The tight end was with the wide receivers. We're going to flip the tackles left and right, so you won't see him there. You know what? That's my bad. I, like Zach Kittley, forget my tight ends sometimes. Baylor Cupp and Mason Tharp there in the tight end room. Henry Teeter back again. You know what? Until they really prove something and jump forward, I'd probably put them 5th anyways. I think Baylor Cupp is very good. Mason Tharp has flashed, but has not been consistent here at Texas Tech. So I'd probably put him 5th anyways. I think we can fill out a 53-man roster with just wide receivers. There are a bunch of them. You're right on that respect. Will Miles Price make an impact or be a ghost again this year? Man, I don't think he was a ghost last year. I think there were certainly some games where he struggled, but there were games where he was really, really impactful last year. I think him coming back, he will have more impactful games than non-impactful games. I'll say that. Daniel picks the supreme leader at quarterback in the Big 12, Quinn Ewers. He will be named preseason Big 12 quarterback, yes. He is the odds-on favorite. 3 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks, formations every down. Miles Price was injured in game 1 last year. He had an injured season. He was up and down, injured a couple of games, but he had some really frustrating plays on some interceptions. I think back to that Houston pick 6 where he curled off a route. The NC State game, people argue that he curled off a route and got that one intercepted. I didn't think so. I thought he got pulled. But there were just a couple of times where people thought he loafed. Is what it is. He has to be sharper if he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver or the number 2 option behind Jerand Bradley. All right, let's talk a little defense. And I think defensively, you've got two guys who could be all Big 12 first team defense preseason. I don't know that everyone would agree with the defensive back. Malik Dunlap, I thought, was good enough last year to warrant all Big 12. And I think he could be a first team all Big 12 preseason guy. And then Jalen Hutchings. I think people think really highly of Jalen Hutchings. And I do too. He is really good. I think Jalen Hutchings could be an all Big 12 preseason kind of guy. If I was going to power rank the three levels of the defense, linebackers would be third. I'm intrigued by the hype of Steve Linton and Miles Cole on the defensive line. And of course, you have Isaac Smith and potentially Joseph Adedire. He might get redshirted, according to Joey McGuire. I think I would put defensive line as most important and most talented. I would put the defensive backs second in most important and most talented. And then I would put the linebackers third. And I think you have some really talented linebackers. I think you're just not as deep there. Josiah Pierre, I think maybe is one of the best players on the team. He's kind of flipped back and forth position-wise. But I think he's found his home there at middle linebacker. I want to see Bradley take a step forward. Yes, I want to see the whole offense take a step forward. That's something that we've been talking about behind the scenes, trying to get ready for football. This offense just never really got going last year, consistently game to game until the very end. And you didn't really have it for the first quarter of the Oklahoma game. And then it kind of got going and then into the bowl game. That was the best 6 quarters you had offensively. And Tyler Shough was not good again in the first quarter against Ole Miss. Is the kid from Post going to redshirt? I'll say this about true freshmen at Texas Tech. It's more likely they'll redshirt than not. That doesn't mean he can't play in 4 games. But I think Joey McGuire is going to be heavy-handed with redshirts this year because you have so many super seniors. You have so many seniors where you can redshirt everybody pretty much. Now, there might be a few positions where you need a guy. I don't think defensive end edge rusher is one of those unless you deal with injuries. Because, again, you could drop down Josiah Pierre, but then you might need to pull up a linebacker. But, yeah, Isaiah Crawford, I think, will probably redshirt. All right, we've only gone 20 minutes, but that was all I planned. If anybody else wants to jump in, well, the Texas kid was the flip. Isaiah Crawford was with Texas Tech for a long time. He was injured last year is why. Crawford didn't play much as a senior, so he kind of, yeah. If we can redshirt and keep, I think you're deep enough to redshirt players. You redshirted a bunch of guys last year. I think you only burnt 2 of that class. See, that's the position, Chase. I think linebacker is the position. You might see both of those guys. And then in the secondary, you're really good and have a bunch of seniors, but those 3 freshmen, I'll say this. Defensive line, I think, is set. Linebacker and secondary, you might see some freshmen play. but I think they'll do it in a way where you don't burn any red shirts. But yeah, you could see Sensei and Dingle at linebacker easily. And you could see those three defensive backs. They called the triplets in spring football. Power rank players you're looking forward to most watching this year. Oh man. Jerand Bradley, number 1. Steve Linton, number 2. Tyler Shuck, number 3, just because I want to see if he can be consistent all year. Let's go to 5. I'm going to say Cameron Valdez. Big play potential in the run game. And then I'm going to cheat and say the offensive line. I know that was a lot of offensive players. Steve Linton, the only defensive player there. But I'm going to cheat and say the offensive line is number 5. Dre McCray is in Roy's top 5. We'll see on Dre McCray. I think the jury is out on Dre McCray because of his performance in the spring. I think maybe I put a bunch of stock into what he did previous to his stop here, but he didn't do anything in the spring game. Now, spring game is a spring game. I shouldn't be down on him. But you're also going after more wide receivers. So, Joseph Adedire, I will say this. I don't know that he'll play much this year. There was an article written from Don Williams that discussed Joey McGuire's intent to maybe redshirt some sophomores that didn't get redshirted last year, and maybe even a junior or two. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm very excited to see him play again. And they discussed, it was Jalen Petrie during his time at Baylor that redshirted late in his career and then reeled off some really good years to go get drafted in the top couple of rounds. Hey, Rob, any more news on Big 12 expansion? Has Colorado cooled off? Yes. Apparently, there's some real steam on the TV deal in the Pac-12. Again, I'll believe that when I see it. But allegedly, there's a TV deal that's done. They just have to announce it. Done is a strong sentiment in my opinion. I don't think it's done. But I think Colorado is waiting for that. Arizona and Arizona State. I think UConn has cooled off. And I don't think the Big 12 is being as aggressive as people are making it out to be. I think the Big 12 is comfortable where they are, at least for a year, especially with Texas and Oklahoma still here for the year. And you're not going to expand and bring those teams in today. They would be a year later. But I don't think that the Big 12 is like, I don't want to say they're not being aggressive, but they're not being stupid. They're not going to just go all in and say, oh, you can have this and this and this and this. Okay. Chase says if it's done and they haven't announced it means it isn't very good because they know one or two teams are going to jump. I mean, it's done as in the principle is talked about, but I don't think it's signed yet. But if they sign a deal, they're not going to jump. That's the deal. Daniel's looking forward to seeing Bryce Ramirez play. Man, that's interesting. Bryce Ramirez, if you don't remember, got hurt snapped his leg in half against NC State, and then was up and about, walking around at games that year in a boot, which I was amazed at. No crutches or anything, just walking around the press box. Impressive. That is an impressive kid. If he plays, that is an impressive kid. Big 12 negotiating from a privileged position. No need to rush to add schools. Yeah, I agree. I agree there's no need to rush. Power rank my favorite ways to cool off in the summer. Welcome, Aaron. Power rank my favorite ways to cool off in the summer. Room temperature water. I think ice water is too cold when you're hot. Yeah, I'm talking about like cool water. Not cold, not ice cold, not hot, but cool water. Laying under a fan with no shirt on, at least. That'd be number 2. Number 3, a lukewarm shower. And then you gradually get a little colder. I think that'd be my top 3. How about y'all? Ways to cool down. It's going to be a warm one today, I think. It's been unusually seasonable here. Yeah, the fan. The fan is legit. Laying under a fan. Not beside a fan. Under a fan. It gets the right angles. All right, we're creeping up on 30 minutes. I got a meeting at 9, so we'll end it here with the phrase big boys know. Progressively cooler showers is the way to go. Yeah, you can't get into a cold shower because it contracts your blood vessels and then you don't cool down. What's up, starter? You're going to have to watch the replay, man, because I'm leaving. All right. Wish me luck. I'll wish you luck as well. And we'll end it here. I've been Rob Bro. I'll be Rob Bro. We'll see you then.